Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I apologize. We are 7 minutes late. Believe it or not, I'm CH rooted right now into an Arch system that I'm trying to get set up for the first time, and I didn't even notice the darn time. You know how you can just lose track of time and get all caught up in something. So I apologize for being late, and I also have to apologize for we're short a host tonight. You know, normally we have myself, the Atomic Ass, and Osiris Tech, and he is not here tonight. I don't know why, unfortunately. Um, he is going to, I would have thought that he would have let me know what's going on, but he didn't, so, we'll just have to wing it with Atomic and I, and we'll have to just do the best we can. So today's show, we have several topics that I do want to cover, and this is episode 10, and I'm glad to be back because I know last week we had I had some in real life stuff come up, me personally, so we had to cancel the show because I couldn't make it, and I'm sure Osiris and Atomic could have went on without me, but it's hosted on my channel, so they couldn't really run the show from my channel unless I gave them my credentials, which I really didn't think about, and nor really would I probably feel comfortable doing that, just because over 300 videos on my YouTube channel that if either one of them wanted to could delete every one of them, if I gave them my credentials. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. So today we have, obviously, I'm Ubu the Tech Guru, and you all know who I am. This is my YouTube channel. But if you're not following me on Twitter or Google Pluses or any of that, check down below in the description of the video, and you can get all of our social media links for each one of us, Osiris, myself, and the Atomic Ass. And now I will hand it over to the Atomic Ass for his introduction.
I am the Atomic Ass, and I review Linux games, and you can find me on Twitter or on YouTube. Both the links are down in the description.
All right. Well, like I said, we have a lot of great topics to cover today, especially since last week, we didn't have a show, so we have just an assortment of stuff to talk about. But the first part of the show, we usually like to cover this little segment that the Atomic Ass does, and it's basically he covers a game that he plays, throughout the week, and then he kind of conveys, some information about that game to the audience. So, Atomic Ass, what is the game for this week?
The game for this week is Fistful of Frags. This is a kind of fast-paced first-person shooter. Kind of has a Team Fortress 2 kind of feel to it, and it is also a free-to-play game.
Yeah, it's based on, isn't it on the Source engine?
It is the Source engine.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and I neglected to mention it is a Western theme.
Yep, and we actually, I forget, someone mentioned that to us over Twitter or something, and I believe also I saw that I Am Apropos played the game, and we, us three went and checked it out, and actually had, some pretty good fun playing it. I'd say it runs excellent in Linux. Personally, on my machine, the frame rates were great. There was no little issues. Controls felt fluid, and I didn't think it was as hard to get kills in Fistful of Frags like it is in Team Fortress 2. I would say that that's what sets it apart. I mean, obviously besides the Western aspect of it, but the fact that I can go around a corner and shoot somebody, point blank with a shotgun in the head and they die right away is awesome. Whereas I go in Team Fortress 2 and I'm blasting rockets at the guy and all I hear is a little bell that rings and he doesn't die. I mean, I realize that the health and all that are totally different between Fistful of Frags and Team Fortress 2, and to each of their own. Each game has a certain little aspect to it. But I I really like the fact that this is a first-person shooter. I like the fact that it's free to play, and personally, I didn't think that it was like, I know a lot of people complain that free-to-play games are like pay-to-win type games, where kind of like Robocraft, where you have better vehicles because you can buy the better stuff in the game.
Yeah, this game doesn't seem to have any DLC, and I think because it's a mod, it probably couldn't have paid DLC.
Yeah, I'm
So,
not sure. I mean, it's a mod. It's a mod of what? Like, it's like a
well,
Gary's mod, but a full game, or what do you?
well, it's a mod of one of the source games.
Okay, gotcha. So what would you say, were its strong points, and what would you say, its weak points, if there were any?
Well, like you said, it is easier to get kills. The downside is it's easier to get killed.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, being free to play, I just have to recommend that people try it out just to see if it tickles their fancy.
Right. And like I said, I think the strong points for the game are, that it is a first-person shooter, and most of the other free-to-play first-person shooters that I've tried on Linux, I completely suck at, like Xonotic or whatever, um, Sauerbraten, and a couple other ones. They're just such fast-paced. I can never seem to kill anybody or aim. I'm horrible at aiming. Whereas in Fistful of Frags, I actually felt comfortable using a keyboard and mouse, and I could hold my own. Um, I really like the various assortment of weapons. They have melee attacks. They have like sticks of dynamite. They have bow and arrows. They have long rifles. They have short like six shooters and various types of guns that I think keeps it fresh. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Uh,
Um,
trying to find out how many people you can have in a single map here. I can't seem to
oh
find
yeah,
it.
because whether it's six versus six or 8 versus 8,
Oh, it's
yes,
more than that.
I suppose we should have found that out since we are
Yeah.
talking about the game.
It's more than that because I recall we were playing 12v12 at least at one point,
Okay. Yeah.
and
I would.
that might be it. It might be limited to 12v12, or that might just be a server limit.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to see if it says anywhere. Oh, here it's a Half-Life 2 mod is what it was based on.
Yeah, that's usually what they are.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find if it says anywhere.
Halloween announcement, update announcement. So they put in a ghost town with pumpkins. Surprise, surprise. Ubu, Ubu. Oh no, I think we may have lost him. We've lost Ubu. Yeah, Shaolin Sniper. That's been a kind of an issue with the Google Hangouts when they're streamed to YouTube. I don't know if that's been fixed or not. Well, obviously it's not been fixed, but I'm not sure if a bug has been officially filed on it. But let's see. Okay. See what Ubu's up to. Probably lost his power again. Okay. So anyway, as an update to what I mentioned last week, no, the week before, on episode 9 of the podcast, Killing Floor goes through its little holiday seasons rather, and at the moment they're going through the Halloween season, in which they change the skins of the zombies that you're supposed to kill in the game for a short period of time. And that game is on sale for another 16 hours at 75% off on Steam. Okay, Ubu just had a little application crash. So he should be back momentarily. I don't think we're blue boxed. Yes, dead air. I guess I'll touch on the first topic, maybe. Or maybe not the first topic, maybe the next topic. Okay, so let's see. If you are running OBS Studio in Ubuntu or any other Debian distribution, this is just a heads up that the PPA address has changed. And it is now PPA:/OBS project/OBS-studio. Not sure why that was on our topic list, but yeah. I'll put that in the chat. Maybe. Hey, it worked. Oh, oh, he might be back. I don't hear him. I don't hear you, Ubu. Audio issues. Okay, he needs to restart Pulse again, so he'll be back again. Yes, Shaolin, there are at least two AAA titles that I know of. Both are in the same series, of course. Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel are both games that play well on Linux. Killing Floor, the game I mentioned earlier, I don't know if that's considered a AAA title. I mean, I would think it would be, but I don't know.
All right.
There he is.
All right. Sorry about that, everybody. I really appreciate everybody sticking around, those of you that were here and stuck around. Technical difficulties. My machine must have, I don't know, ran out of RAM or something. I had like 40 tabs open, and Chrome basically just completely closed. Chrome completely crashed. And then when I was trying to reconnect to the stream, the Google Hangout just kept fluttering. It would not connect. And luckily, the smart person over here, Atomic, suggested I try Firefox, and here we are. So I'm back. I apologize. Hopefully, Atomic kept you guys entertained while I was away.
Not
I know
really.
at times he can be a little quiet, on the quiet side, but I do appreciate you guys. I see we have 4 people watching. What's up, Marco? Hey, Shaolin. Hey, Dugan. Thank you guys for coming. We were just going over the segment of the show that Atomic covers a game that he plays in Linux, and we kind of, just basically discuss the pros and cons of the game. And, we are just going into. I like the fact that, it's a first-person shooter, but it's not super fast-paced like Twitch first-person shooter, kind of like Exonetic and Sauerbraten and those other free-to-play first-person shooters in Linux. Those are just super fast-paced, and I have really trouble playing those. So, obviously I enjoy Team Fortress 2, and now Fistful of Frags I actually enjoy more than Team Fortress 2, because Fistful of Frags, you actually get to kill people and have fun killing people. Whereas in Team Fortress 2, I struggle with killing people just because it seems like people's health, is way higher, and you got to hit them several times to get a kill. Whereas in Fistful of Frags, you get 1 or 2 well-placed shots, and down goes your enemy, and it's a blast. I definitely recommend it to anybody, any of our viewers that are Linux gamers and are looking for, it's free. I mean, that's the huge thing about it, is it's free.
Yeah, that's a good selling point.
That's an awesome selling point. And I mean, since it's a Half-Life 2 mod, I'm sure that it runs reasonably well on pretty modest hardware. Wouldn't you say, Atomic, or wouldn't you think?
Well, yes, the Source engine has kind of become known for being efficient. I mean, you're hard-pressed to find a video card that can't run a Source engine game, an original Source engine game, not a modified Source engine game, maxed out at 1080p at less than 120 frames a second.
Right.
I mean, a 750, not even a TI, but a 750 is gonna push that game. So.
Yes, Shaolin. Fistful of Frags is on Steam, so I definitely recommend you guys check it out. It's free to play. I'm sure it's not even that large of a game. I'd have to fire up Steam and right-click on the properties to see how large the file is. Do you want to do that, Atomic, or do you have Steam open or no?
Say that again.
Just to let our viewers know how large the game is,
Oh, yes. There it is. It is 3.3 gigabytes.
Okay, so that's not too horrible. All right, so that pretty much covers that segment of the show. We usually do that at the beginning of our podcast, where it's a segment that, because Atomic, if you're interested in checking out any other Linux games, Atomic has a whole series on his YouTube channel that is basically titled "Does It Run on Linux?" So he tests out a lot of games, and he has quite a few videos already in his series of testing a lot of various games in not just Steam, but Linux games in general. Whether they're from GOG or from indie developers that aren't on GOG or Steam, whatever. So that pretty much wraps up that portion of the show. And now, since I'm not in Chrome anymore, I need a new link to our podcast notes, Atomic.
Okay.
If you could put that in the chat, I'd appreciate it. Yeah. That really sucked, man. Chrome just completely locked up. Copy link location. All right. So, the first topic that we'll get into here for this week is actually a topic that Osiris was going to cover. Do you have any knowledge about this topic, Atomic, or no?
I do not.
All right. Well, here's
Hey, Techie Rod.
Here's a little warning. The show multiple all three of us look for various topics, and then we cover what we found, because we read up on the article at least, and we're somewhat knowledgeable of the contents of the article and can hopefully convey the proper message. We don't always get everything right, guys. We're not perfect. We might make mistakes. We're amateurs, basically. We're trying to do a little podcast, have fun, interact with you guys. So I'll try to cover this topic here, since Osiris was the one that found the subject, but he's not here tonight. I'm not sure. He's just not here. So basically, the topic is open source Linux support for Corsair Link devices is slowly materializing. Now, I guess Corsair Link is
What it seems to be to me is a device that allows you to drive fans. Is that
Okay,
correct?
Yeah. Corsair Link is a device that it's like a fan controller, you're saying?
Yeah, it looks like it can also control LED strips, get information from non-integrated temperature sensors.
Oh, sweet. Oh yeah, monitoring fan speeds, temperatures, making various PSU adjustments, supports various lighting and cooling mods, and boasts other features. However, all that is only officially supported for Windows users, and apparently, the Linux support is slowly materializing. Basically, it was what the point of this article was. Somebody linked, to his project on GitHub, which is Corsair Link Plus Plus. It's a GitHub repository that contains the Corsair basic driver and a simple command line interface, also a web service, and the rest of the API for viewing the link data via the web interface. So, I mean, this is kind of cool. If you have some Corsair products and you're looking to interact with them and you run Linux as your OS, you don't run Windows, the support for interfacing with that hardware on the Corsair side is slowly starting to materialize in Linux. So, I mean, that's pretty cool news, in my opinion.
I don't think TechieRod likes Corsair Link, though.
No?
No.
Apparently, they had to reverse engineer the Link USB protocol, and it's not easy, basically, capturing, USB data and then interpreting, the information you're getting, and basically reverse engineering it is a small feat in its own. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. So I look forward to, I actually have no, I don't have anything Corsair, so I don't know what I'm saying. I was going to say I have a Corsair cooler, but I don't. I have a Cooler Master cooler.
I thought you had a Corsair PSU.
Oh, I do. I'm sorry. You're right. I have a Corsair CX500. So yeah, you are right. I do have one Corsair.
That doesn't have a Link in it, though, I'm pretty sure.
Right. Probably not that model, right. Yeah, the CX500 is a pretty base model. It's not even modular, for crying out loud. And after the fact, I really wish I would have got a modular PSU, after the fact. I hadn't bought a power supply in 10 years, and I hadn't realized, that the CXM is the modular version of the CX that I bought. In modular, I'm sure, or for those of you that are watching the show and don't know what a modular PSU is, it basically means that you only have to connect the connections that you're utilizing. So instead of coming out of your power supply like just a rat's nest of cords, with every single option that's in the power supply, you only need to connect, like from the power supply to your motherboard, from the power supply to the CPU to power it, from the power supply to a hard drive. And then if that's all that you have, then you're done. You don't need to use any of the extra, cords or plugs or nothing. So modular is, in my opinion, awesome. I mean, and I know they've been out for a long time, so I'm the noob here, basically talking about modular power supplies. But since I just built my system and I hadn't built one for 10 years, I just went with the CX500 because it was on sale. It was, I think it was bronze rated, efficiency rating, and I heard good things about it, so I just went and picked it up instead of really learning and knowing that I wanted a modular one, especially with the case that I picked up. The cable management in my case there is none. there is no cable management. There's like no room to route any cords or any wires behind the motherboard or anything. There's no holes even to mount the wires behind the motherboard. So if you somehow get them back there, you're doing it at the bottom and then kind of bringing them out the side, and it's just the case is a horrible case for case management, which is the Cooler Master. The Cooler Master Elite 430 Plus is the case I bought, and I do not recommend it.
What you just bought was a 20-year-old case.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it looks cool. It's got some great options for fan mounting, radiator mounting on the top, radiator mounting on the back. It's got 3 5.5 drive bays, or 5 1/4, whatever they are, on the front. Even though I don't have any 5 1/4 drives, but it's a nice case. It's a very affordable case, basically, and it still is visually appealing, I think. And it's got a sidewall glass that you can see through. You can see the little blue light that's on my Cooler Master Sidon 120V, CPU heatsink. So, see we got Ven Stone in the chat here. Thanks for dropping in, man. I appreciate it. You can watch our complete noobness to the podcast world here. All right, so that kind of covers the Corsair Link information coming, and the support coming to Linux. I know we weren't really able to cover that topic very well. Osiris was the one that was supposed to cover it, and he's not here today. So the next thing I can talk about, though, our next topic is OBS Studio, which is the complete multi-platform rewrite to the very famous streaming software Open Broadcast Software. Now has an official Launchpad PPA. So those of you that are out there that want to stream, your desktop, that you want to stream yourself playing a game, probably 6 months ago or a year ago, the tools to do it in Linux were basically just a command line, an FFmpeg command line, or a bash script that had a FFmpeg command in it that did X11 grab, and it's grabbed your screen, and you really the versatility of game streaming your gameplay was nil 5 years or a year ago, I'd say. Now OBS has come along, Open Broadcast Software, and they're rewriting their Open Broadcast Software because currently it's only available for Windows. OBS is by itself, but now the rewrite, which is called OBS-Studio, is multi-platform, meaning it works on Mac, Linux, and Windows. And the Linux, I will say, the Linux build is coming along greatly. I mean, I'm able to use it, and it's great. It has all of the features that I want for live streaming myself playing a game. It has overlay or background type support. You can scale the windows, you can move the windows all around. I mean, it's a very versatile application. And now that they have an official Launchpad PPA, it's no longer, before it was someone's personal PPA. It wasn't an official Launchpad PPA. Now it's official. And if you're interested in live streaming your gameplay, I'll tell you right away, you need to have sufficient upload bandwidth. And when I say sufficient, I mean I probably wouldn't try to live stream, when we're talking 720p live stream at 60 frames a second or even 30 frames a second. I would say minimum you need is like 3 meg upload, probably. Maybe you can get away with 2 meg upload. I don't know. I mean, it's all preference about what bit rate you choose to stream at, what your resolution is that you're streaming at, but I will say, if you want to look into it, I would strongly suggest using OBS Studio. You can either compile it from Git, so you get all the latest changes, or you can enable a PPA for Debian-based operating systems like Ubuntu, or They even have, I just noticed today on the forums, they actually have a unstable PPA as well for people like me who want the latest and greatest, whether there's new little bugs or not. I just want the latest right from Git. I want that. I want to run that. Me personally, what I've been doing is I've been recompiling OBS Studio before I stream every time. I do a portable install, which means it doesn't really install the libraries and everything into my system. It's all confined into one folder in my home directory. I build and compile it that way. It's called a portable installation. That way, if I want to try a new compile it again because there's been some new commits or new changes, I just delete that OBS-Studio-portable folder, delete it, and then compile a new one and run it. But now, since they have the unstable PPA, it's going to be even easier for me because I just have to. I'll get automatic updates. It'll automatically update when there's a new commit, and the unstable PPA gets updated with the commits. And the latest Git code. Then I'll be running the latest and greatest. So, I mean, I think OBS Studio it's really, I would say it's still beta or alpha, whatever you want to call it. They don't say it's released, but I think it's to the point where I would say it's pretty darn stable, in my opinion. I mean, it's great. They had some audio desync issues at first, where the audio was before the video feed, and it was like 2 seconds for me anyway. That was when I was trying to use preset medium. But I was working with the developer and providing them examples of the command or the options I was using, and then the resulting video files, and he was able to finally debug the issue in his code to figure out what was causing the desync, and he got that all squared away. And now I can live stream 720p at 60 frames a second because I have 5 meg upload, and the stream looks great. And at least that's what my viewers have said.
I actually did a stream at, I think, 14 or 1500 kilobits at 720p, and it didn't turn out too bad.
Yeah, when I wanted to say the minimums and stuff, I maybe overspoke or misspoke. I mean, if you look at YouTube's encoding settings for streaming, they have a help page, and it tells you what bit rates to use for live streaming, and they suggest for 720p minimum they suggest is 1500 kilobits per second. That's what they suggest. I've seen some people, like a couple of people on Twitter, they talk to me and communicate with me, and they stream their 720p at only like 900 kilobits because they only have a meg upload. That's a pretty common upload for a lot of consumer grade cable modems or digital or cable service as far as internet is 1 megabit upload is common, I believe. That's what I used to have, and it's tough to stream a 720p and have it look good without any pixelation at only 900 kilobits a second. It just doesn't look. I mean, depending on what type of person you are, whether you strive for the best, and you probably could stream at 750, 800 kilobits a second, and people may stick around and watch it if they like you. But I would honestly say to try to stick to YouTube's recommendations for live streaming. I mean, YouTube's been around for how long? I think they know a little bit about streaming video. I mean, that's just my opinion. So, I mean, you can even, if you don't have that much of a bandwidth upload, you can even look at streaming lower resolutions. So you can still play your game at 1080p, or even if you play at 1280 by 720p, you can play it at that. But then in your streaming software, you choose a different scaling option. So just Google like 16 by 9 resolutions, 16 by 9 common resolutions, and you'll be able to find other 16 by 9 resolutions that you could try to stream at and get better stream. Like 960 by 540 is a 16 by 9 resolution, or the lowest is 640 by 360. And that would be a really low resolution, but you wouldn't have pixelation then. Probably the stream may look better. Who knows? It's all about trial and error with live streaming and gaming. Live streaming your gaming sessions and whatnot. So OBS Studio has come a long way. That's part of the news. Part of the show is we wanted to mention that they now have an official PPA. You can find out what that PPA is on the OBS forums. Or you can just search Launchpad for OBS, OBS Studio. I'm sure you'll be able to find it. They have the official OBS-Studio PPA, which has that will get updated every time there's a point release. If you want the latest and greatest bleeding edge OBS Studio, then you have to enable the unstable version of the PPA, which is a different link. So that covers that. The next topic, again, was an Osiris topic. He's not here, so I don't even want to touch this one because I'm not familiar with it at all. Atomic, are you familiar with it? Number 3?
Project Cars?
Yeah. Do you want to mention anything about it or what? Or no?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay, go for it.
So, Project Cars is an ultra-realistic racing simulator. And that's about all I know about it. But what I do know about is that they're advertising SteamOS as one of the platforms that they're going to release it on. So it's coming to Linux.
All right. And do we know... So the whole project has been delayed for Windows, right? Is that what the point of this article was? That it's being delayed? Okay.
Yeah, it is delayed.
All right. And you're saying this game is coming to Linux, but not probably right away.
Well, I don't know if they'd put that, right on the banner if they weren't planning on a release in a reasonable amount of time.
Actually, wow, now that I read this, yeah, it says Project Cars will be coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Steam OS, that's us, starting March 17th in the United States.
Yep.
Wow.
And if you have not seen a video of Project Cars, just get on YouTube and search for Project Cars. It's right there in the uncanny valley. It's so realistic.
Yeah, I watched a video of it yesterday, and it was insane. Watching, they have in the video I watched, they had on the left they had the game, and on the right they had a real, camera and real driver, and they both freaking it looked almost identical. That's how good this game looked. Now I don't know what type of hardware that the game was running on, but this does look like a cool game, and I will say, as we all talked yesterday, Atomic, racing games for Linux are definitely, there's definitely a void to fill there, don't you? I mean, is iRacing, is that even available for Linux?
I'm gonna say no. I might be wrong about that.
Yeah, I don't know either. I know Osiris mentioned that there's really no good racing games for Linux. I mean, yes, there's Super Tux Kart. Don't get me started on that. But Marco says we got 10 people watching. That's awesome. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to the Linux Tech and Gaming Podcast, episode 10. We do appreciate the support. Techie Rod says Linux support, but no OS X support. Is he talking about for iRacing?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so iRacing, I guess, is available on Linux. I didn't know that. I'm not really into simulators, so, but, you know, I guess the point of Cars, our Project Cars, the point of it, Osiris pointed out, was that it's kind of in the middle between like a Need for Speed type racing game and a simulator, so it's kind of in the middle of that. So, you know, if you don't like full-on simulators, you don't have the whole simulator cockpit and steering wheel and all that, but you still like racing games, this sounds like it's going to be a great game, you know, for gamers. Project Cars will. And just like I said, the video I watched, it looked phenomenal. It did. All right.
Oh, then I do have distance, so yeah. I'm a little disappointed in distance, I have to say, because it doesn't quite live up to the expectations I had coming from Nitronic Rush. I don't know why. It's graphically better, handles better, just, I don't know, maybe once they flesh it out with some more levels, it'll be a little bit better.
Shoot, I'm trying to look for something. Sorry. Try to entertain our audience. Come on, Atomic. You're too quiet, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the Steam OS update. I know that Steam OS was recently updated to now it does a better job of showing you the games that are available for you for your particular system. SteamOS beta. No, I do not want to download it. Dang it! They just released an update, and I read the dang article. It added support for now SteamOS can be installed on either a UEFI BIOS system or the legacy BIOS system. You can install it in what they call legacy mode. What?
I say you're going to get flack for calling it a BIOS.
Yeah, whatever. All right, yeah, this update, no, this is not it. Gosh dang it. Unfortunately, I can't find the article now, but for the most part, it's available if you want to opt in for the beta for SteamOS and the Steam client. You can opt in for the beta, and I guess for big picture mode, one of the big complaints from the community was that it didn't really push forward the games that were available to you, like on your system that you're sitting at right then and there. So if you're in big picture mode and you got a controller in your hand and you don't have a keyboard, you know, navigating to the games that work for your system right away, I guess was a little lacking from what the article was that I read. And there was, you know, a new update for SteamOS that, why can I not find it? I don't understand this. It was
because the internet does not want you to find things.
I know, right? What the F, dude?
Marco says that SteamOS does not crash anymore after the update. Well,
that's a positive. That's big news. Why can I not find this freaking article?
But let's see.
I don't know. The other thing, yeah, like I said, they added support for, you know, installing in legacy mode or installing in UEFI mode. Oh, he just linked me on Twitter. Ven did. I appreciate that, Ven. Unfortunately, Firefox and not Chrome. I don't have any of my tabs open. Here we go. Yeah, they just released it yesterday, this update, and you know, it allows you to more easily discover the games that you can play. That's basically what I was saying. You know, they made it so that when you're in big picture mode, you know, the games that are applicable to you, you know, on your system in big picture mode with a controller, you know, are more prevalent. You know, but you do have to opt in. It's in the beta, so you know, they haven't pushed it out to the regular client yet. But this is a welcomed, you know, a welcomed update. So moving on to the let's see, the final topic here.
I think you just skipped over a bunch.
Well, I didn't skip over. Okay, yeah, we have the other topic we wanted to cover is about a website that gathers that gathers hardware information and for Linux users. So those of you that are out there and you run Linux, you know, and maybe you run some kind of like popular hardware, whether it be a multimedia keyboard or, you know, some kind of DVD drive or an Ethernet adapter or something, there's a website out there called linux-hardware-guide.com. And what it is it's a database of hardware that works in Linux. And there's like a rating system, which is really neat. So if you're wondering if a particular webcam works in Linux before you purchase it, you can come to this website and look up that webcam and see what its star rating is and know whether or not, you know, how well it's supported in Linux. And you can contribute to the website. That's kind of the main point that we wanted to cover, was that they actually have a command that you can run. I believe it's Perl based, that will query all of your hardware on your system, and then you can provide that back to them so that they can update their database, which we found last night. The wget, to try to get the actual scan_hardware.txt file, it was not working. They had a DNS resolving issue, and it wasn't resolving properly. Well, I sent them an email yesterday informing them that the link that they were providing wasn't working, and they got back to me and said that they fixed the DNS issue. So let me try this real quick. I'm going to run wget on this file from their server, and we'll see if it pulls down the file. Yes, it did. It pulled down scan-hardware. So now on my machine, I could run Perl scan-hardware, you know, and it's going to collect all of the information about my system and, you know, put it into a nice little format so that I can then provide that file to them either via email or whatever, and they can update their database, you know, with the hardware that I have on my machine, you know, and I let them know how well it's working and whatnot. So I think this is a great little website for, you know, basically trying to find out if your hardware that you already have works in Linux. Atomic, anything to add?
Not on the Linux hardware guide, no.
All right. I will say that for those of you that are watching the show and you know you don't run Linux yet, if you are curious on finding out if your hardware, you know, is automatically supported in Linux, the easiest way to find out is to simply create a live DVD or live CD or live USB stick and boot your machine to that media, and then you'll be booting into Linux, and it's running from memory. It's running in RAM, and you can test out everything. You know, make sure that you got internet connection and, you know, everything is just working. So that's a really easy way to find out if your hardware is going to work with a particular Linux distribution. Most distributions do provide a live system where you can test out the system before installing it onto your hard drive, which is, you know, I think is awesome. That's how I was introduced to Linux the very first time. Somebody at my work gave me a CD that said Breezy Badger on it and said, hey, boot this up. Change your BIOS to say boot to this CD and tell me what you think. And I was like, at the time, I was like, what do you mean boot to this CD? What are you talking about? Because I didn't know anything about Linux. That was 9 years ago, almost 10. And, I tried out Breezy Badger and liked it right away. And I was like, why would I want to pay for my operating system when I have a perfectly capable one that I can get for free? So Linux had me at hello, basically. And, love at first sight. All right, so we got a couple of questions, it looks like, in the comment section that Atomic's on top of. That's awesome. I appreciate it, Atomic, taking care of our viewers in chat. And we do actually have one more topic to cover, but it was something, again, posted by Osiris, and I don't know, he decided not to show up tonight. I'm not sure where he's at. I don't know. I'm sure he had something in real life come up. I mean, and that's understandable. Last week I had something in real life come up. Yeah. We'll have to ask the board if it's okay if he stays on the show or not. So actually, that's pretty much it. The topic that he has on here is Unity names John Riccitiello as its new CEO. Apparently, he's the former EA CEO. He's credited with revisioning of EA into digital, and Osiris wanted to cover that a little bit, I guess, because Unity is a game engine that is used, to make games, and several Linux games run on the Unity engine. There's several that are crap that run on the Unity engine. I'm sure there are some games that are pretty decent on the Unity engine, but the reason the Unity engine is really easy to develop in is apparently the way Osiris put it is there's literally like a button. You code your game and then you just click this button, export to Linux or whatever, and it makes it compiles the game so it'll run on Linux. I think that's why developers choose that tool. One reason they choose that tool because of how easy it is to make it cross-platform, basically. Do you have anything further to add to that, Atomic?
Not on the topic specifically, but Unity is kind of a headache for the end user.
Yeah. Although I will say this, Robocraft, which I did play, I believe was done on Unity, and believe it or not, I do enjoy that game, or I had fun playing that game.
Yeah, you can make a good game in Unity, but you have to put in the effort. Marco wants to know what webcam you're using.
I am using the Logitech C260. It was $14.99 on Newegg.com. It was refurbished.
And they don't make it anymore.
Right. So if you can find it, it's a great webcam. It does do 1280 by 720. I don't know. It's going to obviously depend on your lighting, and the quality isn't the best at 720p, but and that's the mic I'm using as well. Now, I don't know what YouTube is all doing to my audio and video, for the show, because it's taking it and doing whatever and encoding it. So it might be really chopping it up and making me sound bad and whatnot. But I've been told by both Atomic and Osiris that the quality of the microphone on this webcam, in combination with my surrounding area, the room I'm in, makes it not sound like a webcam mic. They feel that it sounds like a pretty decent mic. But no, lo and behold, I'm on a $14 video camera mic, so it does work. And that's pretty much gonna do it for the podcast. I guess I want to apologize for the late start that we had. then I had Chrome crash on me, so I don't know how well Atomic entertained everybody. And then we also didn't have our third host. Osiris wasn't here, so this will go down as probably one of our worst shows. But I do appreciate, we have 11 viewers, which I believe is one of our highest view counts, which is, that's awesome. I appreciate everybody's support. That's great. Like I said before, we're new at this. We're new to podcasting. We're looking at other solutions as far as instead of using Google Hangouts, because obviously it really bit us tonight when Google crashed and everything. I'm looking into other alternatives, like using some other video chat software, like Jitsi, and then along with OBS Studio to actually do the encoding and streaming. So we're looking into other alternatives. We just haven't got there yet. Right now we're using Google Hangouts because it's easy, it's quick to set up, and for the most part it just works, except for today, during the show when Chrome decides to crash. Like I said, my machine must have ran out of memory or something that locked Chrome up. I don't know what it was, but so I want to apologize, or like I said, I apologize for that. And the C270, I'm assuming, is better, Marco. I'm assuming that the C270 is what replaced the C260. That I can only assume that based on the numbers.
I can actually respond to that. I
Okay.
bought the C270, plugged it in, and nothing recognized it.
Really?
Linux knew that it was a webcam, but there was no video device, there was no nothing, and this has been a big issue for the C270 for years.
Okay.
Why?
There you go. He's got firsthand. Why is
it
my?
Didn't work.
Yeah, that's weird. Well, at least now you know. Don't listen to me. The C270 is not better than the C260. It may be, but Atomic can't get it to. It does not work in Arch Linux for him. So,
most of the posts I saw were on the Ubuntu forum too.
Oh, okay. I would say, Marco, try to find a C260, like on maybe Tiger Direct or Newegg, any site, M-Wave, that sells, refurbished stuff. Or I guess, I don't know, check the hardware compatibility website for a cheap webcam. Ven Stone, he's a fellow podcaster. They have a great show. He's recommending a C510. Yep. So that's that. I just want to remind everybody that we do have a Steam group. It's Linux Tech and Gaming on Steam. So you just have to, you can go to do a search on Steam for the Steam groups, and you'll be able to see our Linux Tech and Gaming Steam group. More than happy to join our group, see what we're each playing and whatnot, and kind of stay up to date. Again, our social media links are down below in the description of this video. My Twitter, Atomic's Twitter, Atomic's YouTube, Osiris's Twitter, Osiris's YouTube. So I think all three of us always say the easiest way to get a hold of us would be through Twitter. That's certainly true for me, And thank you everybody for coming to the show. Like I said, it didn't on the technical aspect of it, it did not go very well at all, and many of the topics we were not very informative on because they were supposed to be covered by our other host. So thank you for dealing with us in our growing pains. I appreciate each and every one of you as a viewer. That's awesome. And that's going to do it for today's show. I look forward to seeing you next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Atomic?
Yeah. You can find me on YouTube and Twitter.
All right, guys, that's it for us tonight. I'm going to go back to my chroot environment that I'm in currently to install Arch Linux as another OS on my main system. So take care, everybody. Later.